Hello everybody, this is Caitlin Springer here from the Florida Orchestra. Today we are going to talk about the Kreutzer etude number 12, which is the 11th and 12th grade all-state requirement for viola. Now this etude it's really nice, it's really beautiful. It's a study in bow control. So we're gonna do a lot of bow practice for this one, starting with open strings here. So what I want to do is I actually want to break down the first couple bars because I want to start getting used to the idea of playing with long, smooth bows. We're going to have to be playing with really smooth, slow bow. So this is going to be something we have to practice. Now, what I have here in the first part of the worksheet is an open string practice where we're just dissecting the strings that we're going to be playing on under the slurs. So without the left hand, we're going to practice the slurs with the open strings. So what you could do that's helpful when you're doing this for the first time, because it's hard to keep track of the rhythm like this, is you could set your metronome on, and I'll set it pretty slow, and then I'm going to set it on 16th notes. So I have in my head ba 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 ba. So when I'm playing my open strings, I have something to line it up with. All right, let's try this out. 1, 2, open strings, go. Yum. So that's kind of what it's gonna feel like, which feels really different at first. So in the second part of this worksheet, we actually go over the bow distribution, how to break this up in the bow. So if under one slur you have an entire measure, you're gonna fit the whole measure into a whole bow. Now if you cut that up, divide it in half of the measure should fit into half of your bow. If you divide that into quarter notes, a quarter of the measure should fit into a quarter of the bow. So you could kind of divide it up mathematically like that, and I do that by actually doing a little bit of a pause in between the notes. And you could kind of just see how much bow is each note going to use by doing that. So let's try this out. Can you fit the first half of the bar, which is this much, into half of your bow? I think I'm even a little bit over half right now, so let me try that again. Half of the bow. That one was pretty good. See if you can do that. So actually play the first half bar and just see if you could get to half of your bow and you're not over here. If you're over here, then you're not going to have any room to play the second half of the measure. So let's actually, let's dissect it just like that. So we're going to freeze in the middle of the bar. We're going to make sure we're at the halfway point of our bow, and then we're going to keep going. All right, halfway point. Could be a little bit better, but I'll keep going and see what happens. Okay, that's our whole bow. That should be half of my bow. It's a little less than half, so that's pretty good. I have room to spare. So you can see how every note is perfectly divided, but in a way that's also really challenging. So let's do that all one more time, and let's see if we could actually use our eyes, and we don't have to freeze, but we're just going to use our eyes to judge our bow distribution. Great, how did you guys do? That's a really tricky one. So when you're doing this, this style of bowing, it's really good to think of the catch and release kind of thing. So we're not pushing the string down and stopping it that way, because that would sound really harsh, but we're just setting our bow on the string and we're just letting it release. Catch, release, catch, release, catch, release, like that. It's a bit of a challenging bow exercise, but I think it's really, really worthwhile. All right, so once we have that, we can add the left hand. So now we have the same bow distribution, the same dots on the notes, but we're just adding our left hand. Good. Now the question is, did every note have a beautiful ring to it? If it didn't, then maybe you are pressing too much into the string and you could do more of the catch and release. Ran out of bow at the very last one. So this is a really challenging little exercise, but it's actually going to make your life a lot easier, because now when I play this, my bow arm is used to that bow distribution, so it'll sound really nice. And it might be a little bit easier faster too. Yeah, so playing it a little bit faster is actually going to help, but doing it slowly with that intense focus on bow distribution is really going to help the cause here. And of course, the better you are with bow distribution, the more room you'll have to make shapes and to do dynamics. So let's keep pushing on that one. So let's go back to our worksheet and let's see what we've got here. Oh, so the third thing that we could start practicing here is some of the passage work, some of the shifts. So it's really challenging to do shifts and slurs all together all the time. So I like to break it down. I break it down kind of by the set. So every beat to me is a set. I could divide it into every grouping where it goes up and goes down and then it resets and goes down again. To me, that's a set. So that's what I'm looking for here. What sets, the smallest set, could I divide this into so that my brain can handle all this information, right? So I'm gonna just go really slowly through. This is measure 10. Really slowly, and I'm going to actually pause at the end of what I think each set is. So that's a set. And now we start shifting. Take your time on the shifts. Now I just want to check one thing here. This is measure 10. Interesting. Oh, the F natural is carried over from the beginning of the bar. So that low F natural in measure, that's probably measure 11. See how the first note in measure 11 is an F natural? I was just thinking, why did I play an F natural? It sounds like it should be an F natural, but sometimes there are mistakes. So yeah, that should be enough natural. It does carry through the bar. So, good. Now, yeah, so as we're doing this, I want us to think about each shift as a step on a ladder. So we're going from position to position. We're going from the first step to the second step, first to second position. And it's a very small step. And then we go from the second step to the third step, the third step to the fourth step. We stay. And then this is really just an extension. I did it as a shift before, but it's actually not so much. Just extend a little bit. And then go right back to where you were before. So that's that. What you could do if you're having a hard time getting that in your ear is try playing it with a simple fingering. So when we play with a simple fingering, what we're doing is instead of doing the shift, we're just staying in first position for as long as we can. At least up to there, we could stay in first position, and that'll put it in our ear so that we know when we're going. Now I can match that. It should sound the same. Now let me try it in the written fingering. Should sound the same. Written fingering. So there you can match something. You have a reference, a little guide to help you along the way. So take advantage of all of those ways to practice this piece. Now these are just a few ways to practice a very few sections. We got the beginning and we got one of the shifty doodle sections. And when you put that together, let's just see what happens after we practice measure 10. Now we've got a little reference. So it's going to be seamless like that after the fact, but first we have to practice it kind of in each little step, right? And for this section, the bowing is a little bit over the top, so I might actually split up the bowing. In the parts on the FOA website, they have written in pencil bowings. I don't know if that's an official thing or not, but I might be a little bit creative with the bowings here because I'm more interested in what kind of sounds I could make, what kind of interesting dynamics I could do. More interested in that than in following the bowing. So, you might just want to be a little creative with the bowing there. But yeah, this excerpt, this etude is really, really nice. And I hope you guys enjoy playing it. Practice it really slowly and always practice the hard stuff first. That's going to help you make it easier and easier and easier. So by the time you get to the audition, you're already prepared to play all of the most challenging parts of this piece. So have fun with this piece, and I hope this was helpful. I will see you next time.